Hello my friends, I'm Brett Larkin, and in this video I'm going to show you how to do shoulder stands so you can practice it at home. You may have noticed that I don't teach a ton of inversions in my classes on YouTube, and that is because I feel like inversions are just best suited to be taught when you can really be in the room with an instructor, because of course there is the chance of falling. That being said, it is fun to practice inversions at home as long as you're aware of the risks and willing to move slowly and safely. And I have a tutorial on handstand, which I think is the safest inversion, especially if you do it at the wall for beginners, so check that out. And now I'm doing this shoulder stand tutorial, which I think is the second safest inversion that you can practice at home on your own. Very, very important about shoulder stand is that you do not want to move your neck once you are in shoulder stand, meaning that you do not want to look at me or your computer or screen while you're in the pose. So how we're gonna do this is that I am going to demo shoulder stand for you, and I'm gonna ask you to please just watch me first so you can pick up on all the little details, and then we'll do it again and we'll do it together. How I like to get into shoulder stand is I like to go into plow pose first. So the safe way to do that is to just press your hands onto the ground and then take your legs overhead. Now the very first thing I'm going to do, so I'm not resting my weight on my neck, is to start shimmying my shoulders down the mat so my shoulders are folded underneath me like a little origami. It's like origami. So see how I'm just waddling my shoulder blades towards one another? Good. And then here I am in plow. And this is the pose where you do not want to ever look at the screen. So I work on straightening my legs and pressing through my heels. And then I take my hands to my low back. And if you have a slippery shirt, I'd suggest pulling down your shirt so you can have your weight on your hands and not slip. And I really set the weight of my seat into my hands, so that the weight is really on my biceps as opposed to even my shoulders. And then I curl up into a little ball and I lengthen my tailbone high. And then from there, I straighten my legs. And then I Barbie the feet. So I spread my toes apart and I have my feet pointed, but the top of the foot is flexed. And then you can stay here for 10 or 15 breaths. You can practice lowering one leg to the floor or towards the floor. Let's see if I make it. Oh, made it. Okay. And then the other one. All right, you can practice taking the soles of the feet together if you want to try that variation. And eventually you can practice doing like lotus or half lotus, all sorts of fun stuff. But for now, just, and when you do it with me in a minute, we'll just keep the legs straight. I just wanted to show those as things you could do. And again, the big thing here is that the weight is not back here. I think a lot of people in shoulder stand have their legs back here and they don't realize it. So the weight is in their neck and their head, which is really dangerous. So you really want your ankles to be directly above your elbows, if that makes sense, because my elbows are the tripod that's hanging me up, holding me up. So even though it's called shoulder stand, it's almost more like a bicep stand because I'm really balancing on my biceps with my shoulders having been folded in like origami underneath me. To come out, I'm going to come back into plow pose. I'll make those like the bridge position with my hands. And if you want to do a sequence I have called Journey into Back Bending, I go a lot into how to fold the shoulders underneath you. And then I like to bend the knees and press my temples with my knees, like a little brain massage. And then I gently roll down. Okay, and then I take a counter pose. A lot of people suggest fish as the counter pose, and full fish to me is too intense. Like I don't like to do fish after. If you do, go for it. I find that I think it puts unnecessary pressure and risk on my cervical spine. So instead what I do is I just take my elbows underneath my shoulders and I just arch my heart up and I let my head just hang back. So it's sort of like a fish variation, but I'm not actually putting pressure on my head like you would in traditional fish. Or my head's not on the ground like in traditional fish. And I take a couple breaths there. And then I'm very careful to come out of this because it's a lot of pressure on my neck. So I very gently bring my chin back into the chest and then lie down and relax. So if you want, you can almost find a bridge position first, right? And like find that sensation of your shoulders shimmying underneath you, yeah? And then you can let that go. I just like to sometimes
show that because it is the same movement. So come into your plow. So you roll the feet over the head, but then right away, start folding the shoulders underneath you and walking the shoulders down the mat. Interlace your fingers into a clasp so there's no weight at all on your neck. So really, really waddle the shoulders in and up and down the mat. It's going to be goofy and not graceful, and that's okay because I want you to be protected. And then if your feet can reach the floor with straight legs, do that. If they can't, it's okay to have the knees bent. Just do the best you can. If the knees are bent, just energetically work on straightening the legs. And then take your hands to your low back. So you bend at the elbows. Pull down your shirt if you want to grip onto your back, which I find is really helpful. Bend your knees and place your low back into your palms and really feel the weight of your body on your elbows. Now take your knees directly towards the sky. Good. And now take your feet above your knees. So you're really feeling your elbows pressing down into the ground to hold your weight here in the shoulder stand. Barbie the feet, spread the toes apart. So your feet are pointed, but the ball of the foot is flexed. Just hang out here and breathe. If you feel any pressure on the neck at all, you want to move your feet towards the back of the mat so there's more weight in your elbows and no weight in your neck. Keep the legs active. So you can rotate your thighs in towards one another so you have an interior rotation of the legs. And keep the toes lifting towards the ceiling. So notice if your legs have a tendency to just kind of go limp and hang out. See if you can really push up through the legs, almost like your kneecaps are lifted, your quads are engaged. And this is such a great pose. It really resets the nervous system and does really great things for all the hormones in your body. You can stay here a little bit longer, or you can begin to bend the knees now. Come back into your plow as the safe way to exit the pose. Again, if you're doing plow with bent knees, that's totally fine. You can purposely bend the knees now if you like and just squeeze the knees towards your temples for a little head massage. And then gently roll up as you're ready. If you're still in shoulder stand, that's totally cool. And then if you want to try my little fish variation, you're going to take the elbows underneath your shoulders, point your toes so the legs are active, and just lift up through the chest. And if it feels okay on your head to have it drop back, have it drop back. Just a few breaths. Now very, 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 very gentle with the head to bring it up. So think of elongating the neck, drawing the chin in, being very gentle. Good, and then push yourself up. I hope this video clarified and gave you some tips on how to get in and out and enjoy shoulder stand safely. So do it now on your own as much as you like, and please leave me your comments and your feedback in the comment section below this video. Be sure to like this video if you found anything I said helpful. Giving me a thumbs up right here will help me a lot, and subscribe to my channel, of course, if you haven't already. You definitely want to go to my website and get on my mailing list so I can email you new classes as soon as they come out, completely free. And if you want to study with me in person, I have some upcoming retreats and things which you can check out at brettlarkin.com/retreats. From my heart to yours, namaste.